Welcome, Mustang families, class of 2025. We're so excited that you're joining us. My name is Mrs. Diaz.
I'm Mr. Munoz, the new early college counselor.
So we're both here to go over just a brief orientation on what to expect during registration as you're filling out your documents and filling out your application for PCC. So we're going to go ahead and share our screen and get started. Again, this is a recording, so you can always pause, record, or rewind, fast forward, whatever you need to kind of go back and get the information again. Okay, so Mr. Munoz, you can see my screen? Okay. So welcome. So today we're going to watch the virtual early college orientation, which is this video you're watching right now. We're going to give you an overview of dual enrollment. We're going to go over the student contract, and then we're going to give you what next steps you need to complete to be ready to go next week during registration. So really quickly, we've had some changes to our counseling team. Dr. Nancy Gonzalez-Huser will be our Puente counselor. Mr. Brody has moved back to counseling, and so he's a John Muir counselor. Mr. Munoz has come to our side of town, and he is also an early college counselor along with myself. We still have our wonderful support staff, Ms. Connie Martinez. She's our College and Career Center advisor. Ms. Selena Galvez, who helps with the dual enrollment. And then Ms. Nadia, who is a PCC counselor, and she also leads our girls group on campus. So we're really excited to have our team growing stronger to help and support our students and families. You, Mr. Munoz.
Oh, sorry, the screen's going slow. So at John Muir, you have a unique opportunity to being part of an early college program. So you will be part of a special cohort of students that have an opportunity to earn college credits during your time here at high school through PCC. Muir is the only high school to have the early college magnet program. Others may have other opportunities, but we are the ones that have it within our schedule. You will take your first college course this year, starting with counseling 12 fall semester. And in the spring, you will be taking the Health Education 44, which is health class. After freshman year, there will be an application process that will continue on your early college path, where students will take a sequence of college courses alongside their high school courses. So that's going above and beyond from what you should have been doing. And sequence of courses are selected from general education requirements. So all of these courses that you will be taking within your high school should be applicable to a majority of colleges after you graduate. By taking the minimum of one college course a semester, you can have up to 24 college credits. Students that are interested in earning more credits on their AA must schedule an appointment with Mrs. Diaz.
So one of the big things to kind of stress on here is that our program is an early college program. We're inside a comprehensive high school. So students have the opportunity to dip in and dip out of college courses. So let's say in the 9th grade, they take the 2 college classes, and then they want to maybe take a little break in sophomore year. That doesn't mean that they can no longer take courses. They can continue taking courses their junior and senior year. So if they were to take a college course every semester, they can have up to 24 college credits, but that's going to really depend on each individual student. The other thing that I want to stress also is that we are an early college high school. We are not promising an associate's degree at the end of the 4 years. There are students who are working towards that. We actually have had our first recipient of an associate's degree in natural sciences. She was a junior last year, so she basically got her associate's before she got her high school diploma. It's doable. However, it does take more commitment from the student in order to accomplish that goal. Again, we don't discourage, we want to encourage students to take as many college level classes, but we also want to caution them that they don't take too much. We want them to have successful college credit, and we want them to find success both in their high school courses and their college level courses. And the meeting could be with either myself or Mr. Munoz. So Mr. Munoz and I are counterparts, and we work together with all of the students that are taking college courses through PCC. So this is just a quick screenshot of our early college sequence. At John Muir, we have a block schedule, which means students have 4 periods one day, and I'm sorry, 4 classes, 4 periods on one day, and 4 classes, 4 periods on the other day. We do odd and even days, and you will get more information with this through Dr. Gray during his welcome meetings and his orientations that he does with families and students. But for the most part, because you have that 8 block schedule, you're able to take the PCC class during your high school day. What that means is you don't have to leave campus. You don't have to take additional coursework. It's already part of your high school schedule. As you see in the 10th grade, you can continue taking oral communication and social and behavioral sciences. So that's psychology, speech, sociology. And then junior year, it opens it up because you're already completing your high school level courses. So by junior and senior year, you're able to take more than just one course a semester. Again, this is just a snapshot. It might look differently for every individual student. However, in the 9th grade, we do offer the counseling 12 course and the health course to all freshmen. Let me skip that. Okay. You're on mute, Mr. Munoz.
Sorry. So other student services we have here at John Muir is that we have, again, you have your school counselor, but you also have Ms. Diaz and myself as the early college counselor. So we all work together. Your regular school counselor will be the person that maintains your academic plan, but we could always support you in any questions you have, or if you are thinking, what are you thinking after high school? And we also have our dual enrollment advisors that are specifically supporting you through the dual enrollment process. Students with an IEP or 504 plan, you may be eligible for additional services through PCC Disabled Students Program and Services. Again, you have the IEP and 504 with us at the high school side, but there are different requirements with PCC, and as a community college, they require or they take on a different way of how to look at IEPs and 504s, but we could work with you with that. For the most part, we as the early college counselors will provide those IEPs and 504 plans to professors before they start teaching. But again, if you are not aware, we could always communicate with professors with any concerns. Early college seminar, so additional resources during your seminars every other Monday?
Every Monday.
Every Monday, development of educational plan and college and career workshops. So Mrs. Diaz and the other counselors and myself will be going into the seminar times and giving you some workshops in preparing yourselves for college and career. Tutoring is available in different formats from different organizations throughout the school, not only with, what are they? Sorry, what are the names?
Upper Bound.
Learns, Upper Bound, as well as, dual enrollment after school support is available. Students have the opportunity to be part of the pre-college programs such as PCC's TRIO programs for additional educational advising and support as well.
And then just really quickly, there's something that we didn't list on here. It's something new to John Muir. We started opening it up last year when we returned back to school. Is we have a new wellness center and we have a school-based therapist. So this is above and beyond what we have with our mental health services that are already on campus. We have an additional resource as a school-based therapist. That's Ms. Nancy De La Rosa, and she's housed in the Wellness Center. So the Wellness Center really is a space for students to decompress. If students need to talk to someone for 15 minutes or just kind of, have a moment where they just need to de-stress, the Wellness Center is for students to do that. There are going to be additional supports throughout the year. And so I just wanted to highlight that because that's something new to us and we're really excited for students and families to take advantage of those services. So in high school, there's multiple ways for students to earn college credit. One of the more traditional ways was advanced placement. We do still have advanced placement courses at John Muir. However, advanced placement college credit is not always guaranteed. Even if a student has a passing score, the institution is going to be the one that's going to dictate whether or not the student will receive those college credits. So dual enrollment is a little bit different. Dual and concurrent enrollment, they're a little bit different because these agreements are already set with certain institutions that the credit is already awarded. So basically they receive the credit by passing the course. A passing grade is a C or better. Of course, we want to always encourage students to get A's and B's because it does go on their college transcript. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as I'm kind of talking about both. But there are a variety of ways for students to earn college credit at John Muir. So dual enrollment, again, it's part of our early college program. It's during the high school day. Courses are taught by PCC faculty. Again, the student does not pay for any fees, books, or material costs. The student receives both high school credit and college credit automatically on their transcripts. So what that means is that on their high school transcript, they will see PCC Counseling 12 class on their transcript, but then they'll also have their PCC transcript that will have the class notated on there as well. The other thing about dual enrollment is that you're in courses with your peers. So you don't have to worry about adults being in your class. It's all your high school classmates. And so it's kind of, nice. It's kind of a nice hand-holding way of having the college experience while you're still in high school. The other way of getting college credit is what we refer to as concurrent enrollment. So this is a little bit different because it does require more advocacy on the student side. So classes are taken after the student's high school day. This could be after school, this could be on the weekend, this could be over the summer, but it's not part of their class schedule on campus. Again, these are all taught by PCC faculty because it would be just like if they were going to the main campus to take a course. These classes, however, are only posted on the student's PCC transcript, so on their college transcript. If the student wanted to utilize those credits for something in high school, they would have to turn in their official transcript to our registrar to make sure that that credit was put on their high school transcript. There are no fees. There are some classes though that we wouldn't pay, and those are like the health ally programs. Those have significant fees attached to them, so we will pay for the books, but uniforms and things like that, that's not something that we would provide. However, any book costs, materials or books, we would supply. But if it's uniforms or things of that nature, that's something that we cannot pay for. However, you still get your books for free. The other thing to note about concurrent enrollment is that the student population is mixed. So you're going to be in the classroom with people of all ages, adults, students fresh out of high school, students in high school. So we have no control over who is in those classes. The other thing I really want to mention that we'll get to as part of the student contract is for dual enrollment, there's this hub of support, right? We have Mr. Munoz, myself, the other counselors, our dual enrollment advisor. As part of that dual enrollment program, Mr. Munoz and I are the liaison between the student and the professor, the parent and the professor. So communication, if a student's not doing well, will typically come to us first. And then we will figure out to call parents, to talk to students. Really, it's that additional support. With concurrent enrollment, again, when we talk about the student has to be their own advocate, we don't have any control of talking to the professor because they're going to get professors that are not part of our program. Therefore, it has to be on the student to make sure they're communicating with the professor if they're going to miss class, if they're missing assignments. Parents can't just go in there and talk to the professor. That's a violation of laws, of educational laws at the college level. So we want to make sure that you understand the distinction between both. Dual enrollment, it's more of a hub of support. We're really kind of hand-holding the student. Concurrent enrollment, although we will help them with the process and we sign off on paperwork, it really is on the student to make sure that they're communicating with their professor and that they're following up with whatever they need to we're not going to be kind of communicating with the professor on their behalf. Did I miss anything, Mr. Munoz?
No, and again, that policy is under FERPA. It's something that professors will likely bring up to a parent that contacts them. So if parents do have concerns in dual enrollment courses, please do contact us. Concurrent enrollment, it would be on the student because again, there need to be more advocate for that situation. But yes, the parents should maintain communication with us in any dual enrollment class if any concerns come up.
And we do the same with you. So well, during the progress grades, that's when we tend to see who's not doing well in those classes. So if something was kind of off, you would get communication from myself or Mr. Munoz regarding the student's progress in the course. So again, dual enrollment, it just kind of gives them more of that hand-holding support. Concurrent enrollment, again, just kind of more on their own for the student. So this is kind of small, but this is the student contract, and I have to change the year on there. But basically, the student contract goes over the attendance requirements. So for dual enrollment, so if a student is going to miss their course, like let's say they're going to go to the dentist in the morning. One, we try to avoid the student going to any appointments such as those during their PCC classes, but we know that sometimes those things are unavoidable. However, attendance is mandatory. So not only in their high school courses, but also in their college classes. If the student is going to be absent, they need to report the absence not only to our attendance office, but they also need to communicate that with their professor. Sometimes students will email myself or Mr. Munoz, and what we'll do is we'll go ahead and forward that email to the professor, but we really want to also show students how to communicate directly with their professor. So we always encourage them to also follow up with their professor. Academic requirements, the student is responsible for completing assignments by the deadline that the instructor provided them with. It is important for the student to be responsible in communicating with their professor. Again, due to FERPA, parents and guardians are not allowed to make contact with the instructors to ask about how their child is doing, how their progress is going. If you have those kind of questions, please make sure you email myself or Mr. Munoz, and we'll be happy to get the message to that professor. If there is a concern, let's say they're getting a D or F during the 5-week, we're going to look at getting a pass, no pass grade. We'll have a conversation with the student. A pass, no pass grade means that they're going to still stay in the class, but they're not going to get a letter grade. Therefore, it's not going to negatively impact their GPA. So we do that kind of to protect the child and to really, just kind of, again, more of a protection and a cautionary measure to not affect their college transcript as much. Then there's a policy from PCC on what a pass, no pass is. And again, you'll get a copy of the contract so you could read that in more detail, but I wanted to put that information on there. So by the 13th week of the semester, if let's say the student dipped and now they're getting a D or an F, the student will be dropped from the course. The student will be dropped with a W. A W means that the student withdrew after census, after the drop deadline. So they'll have a W mark on their official college transcript. Again, the W doesn't have a weight, but it does. It will always show on their college transcript. So we try to avoid these types of situations, but we know that things happen. And so these are just things that we have available to students to kind of help them. The other thing I want to remind students is this is a real college course. Professors come to PCC Northwest, which is our D building. It's right here on our campus, and they come and they teach the classes. So a lot of times students will tell me, Ms. Diaz, I didn't even know that was a real class. I thought it was just, to kind of get our feet wet. I'm like, no, it's a real college class. So I cannot emphasize that enough, that these are real college classes. These are not pretend college classes. These are real college courses that students and parents, parents, families, you need to take very seriously because it is going to impact their college transcript. Sorry, my thing's on an auto. And then just appropriate behavior in class. PCC follows their own discipline policies, but they also abide by our high school rules. So just, be courteous and respectful of your peers and instructor. And then here you would check off whether or not you want to continue and have your child enrolled in the PCC course, or if you want to maybe, opt out at this time. And there will be that option on the Google form that you will receive to either opt in or opt out. Anything here, Mr. Munoz?
I would just make it a key that communication is very important in this process. So Mrs. Diaz and myself, we're always open to any questions you may have, student or parents, and it's something that we need to make something familiar because communication within our school and PCC is vital to the success of the student. So we hope the student also gives part of their part and really communicates with us and the professors for any concerns that may come up. And we'll support them as much as we can on our side and with PCC support as well.
Thank you.
So what does the first week look like for you guys that are coming as ninth graders? So PCC classes will start Monday, August 23rd. Our high school does start in August 12th. But you guys, that first week, we will be, Ms. Diaz and myself, will be going into your classes and just giving you pointers on how to prepare for your classes, for your PCC classes, and how to be a better college student. Remember, you'll be a high school and college student at the same time. So the first week of high school will be dedicated, again, assimilating to the high school and prepared college course. Some topics will be covered. Will be what is dual enrollment, what does it mean to be a college student, getting ready with your Lancer point. So the Lancer point is your path, your kind of your hub for on the PCC side. They also use Canvas on the PCC side. So you may be familiar from Canvas from last year on our virtual classes through PUSD. So really keep in mind that you'll have two Canvas accounts, your John Muir account and your PCC account for Canvas. And again, we'll look into college transcripts as well and how you get familiar with your high school transcript and your college transcript.
Thank you, Mr. Munoz.
Mhm.
So next step. So again, any questions or concerns that you may have, please feel free to email Mr. Munoz or myself. You can even email your own counselor. Usually, again, we all work together. We're a team. We work collaboratively with one another. So you can always email any one of us, but specific early college questions or PCC questions usually are routed to myself or Mr. Munoz. We're going to be sending, you're going to get as part of this orientation video, Dr. Gray will send out a sign-up sheet. It's the dual enrollment application sign-up. It's a Google form that you will fill out, and I'm going to kind of go over that in just a little bit. Embedded in that Google form is the acknowledgement of the student contract. Again, that's that contract we went over, what is dual enrollment, the academics, attendance, and behavior requirements. In order to get you going before registration, so you have one less step that you have to complete when you come to registration next week, you will be able to sign up for an application workshop. Mr. Munoz and I will be having workshops this Thursday and Friday to help students get their PCC application and documentation out of the way so that when you come to registration, it's one less step. After you complete that Google form, you will get an email from PCC with a high school dual enrollment approval form. This form will come from Carlos Castellon. He's our educational advisor on the PCC side that oversees dual enrollment. So it will come from him. It will come from an Adobe Sign email, but it'll have his name attached to it. The subject line will read dual enrollment agreement form, agreement for, and then the student's name. So we're going to kind of go over that process in a minute, but I just wanted to give you those pieces of information so that when you get that email, you know what it is. It's important and you must complete it. So the high school dual enrollment approval form.
Ms. Diaz, going back, keep in mind PCC will send another email, an automatic email with concurrent forms. Please ignore that email. That is an automatic that will be sent to all high school applicants at the PCC side. Please ignore that one and look out for the Carlos Castañeda email. That's the email that you will, the form that you actually need. The other one is for concurrent. Concurrent situation, we'll talk about that different part. But for dual enrollment, look for the Carlos Castañeda email.
Yeah, so again, what Mr. Munoz said is students who are high school students automatically get an email from PCC once they've applied. It's kind of a confirmation email and then next steps. go ahead and ignore that email because it's going to have different forms attached. You do not want to fill out those forms. There's always confusion with that. This form right here is the one you want to fill out. Can they see it, Mr. Munoz?
Yeah.
Okay. So here you're going to put your high school name, John Muir High School, student's last name, student's first name, and you should have already applied to PCC by the time you fill out this form. And if you haven't, that's okay. You could leave it blank. But this will be your PCC number. It's an 8-digit student ID number, and it's probably going to start with 105 and then 5 more numbers after that. So this is a student agreement. Please make sure to read this. It talks about maximum number of units, what are restricted courses, prerequisite requirements, etc., etc. The student will sign. It's an e-signature and will date. Okay. Once the student signs this, an email will be sent to the parent's email that's put on that Google form. And then the parent guardian will put their first and last name on here. And then they will e-sign and date as well. Okay. Then once that email is completed, the signature is completed by the parent, Mr. Munoz and I will automatically get the completed form, and we will then finish the form by signing off on it and uploading the student's unofficial transcript. Okay. Once this is complete, that means you've gotten the green light, and we're going to go ahead and enroll you in the counseling course. Okay. This form only needs to complete it once throughout your high school journey. Okay, even if you take a break from PCC classes, you have this form. This form will help you for the next 4 years. So it's very important that we get this form. I would say, even if you plan on not taking a course this year, like if you wanted to opt out, I would say still do the form. Right, Mr. Munoz? Just so that we have it and it's saved and you don't have to worry about doing this part later on. So this is the high school approval form. Did I miss anything?
And when you're submitting the information on our Google form, please be in mind that you use your personal email, not your PUSD email, because again, there's a situation that PCC cannot submit emails to your PUSD. Please submit it with your personal email. And parents, if you use your parents, do not use the same email for both, because then the signature process gets a little weird. So remember, it's your personal email for student as well as a personal email for one of the parents.
Yeah. And then I'm just going to show really quick what the sign up Google form looks like. So again, your email will automatically get populated from whichever email you're using. However, we need to make sure we have the student's name, that's first and last name, their student ID, which is their PUSD ID number, or their lunch number, if students remember it by. Student's personal email, again, not their PUSD email. Parent guardian first and last name. And parent guardian email. Sorry, that should say email. So we'll fix that. And then here's the dual enrollment contract that you would have to read and then acknowledge that you've read it. Okay. After that, if you've watched the orientation video, which I hope you have because we're going through it, you click yes. If not, we're going to put the link on there. You're going to have to go back and watch it on YouTube. If you've already completed the PCC application, so let's say you took a class in PCC over the summer, you do not need to complete the application again. You've already finished that. So if you go to yes, it's going to take you to here where you get to put your screenshot of your welcome email from PCC. If you put no, it's going to take you to sign up for an application workshop. So you have 2 choices, your first choice and then your second choice. Again, these application workshops will be on Thursday and Friday. And so, yeah, once you complete that, we'll get the information. We'll send out the confirmation for the workshop, and then we'll get you going. All right. So again, this is just to save you steps at registration. If for whatever reason this is too much information and you feel overwhelmed, we completely understand. We will be here during registration all next week to help you with these steps if you weren't able to complete them before Monday. Okay, anything else, Mr. Munoz?
No, I think that's it.
All right, everybody, have a great day and go Mustangs.
Go Mustangs.
Bye.